Sometimes the court goes crazy on paternity court.
I don't see how not. I haven't been with nobody else but him.
Mom, you had to be with somebody
But
else.
I wasn't.
You had to. The tests do not lie.
I know it don't lie, but I have not been with nobody else but him.
So now I get punished. I get punished because I'm not money worthy. You know, to keep them happy. Keep them happy. You know.
Whoa, hold your phones. Did a casual weekend hookup turn into a decades-long mystery? Miss Wilson's now on a wild goose chase to track down her daughter's real pops. And guess where she ended up? Yep, you guessed it. The Drama Central Paternity Court.
It means a lot to me, but it means more to my daughter. And I just want Mr. Dowdy to take full responsibility.
And up until now, he has not?
No, ma'am, he has not.
All right.
Your Honor,
so
he
how
was my
did you
first
meet?
love. He was my first love. He was the first person that I fell hard in love with. I've never been in love with anybody else until I met him.
Mr. Dowdy suddenly recalls a fling with Miss Wilson and conveniently labels her as a past party animal. And hey, he's thinking there might be some other dude in the mix too. Talk about playing the memory game. Well, this is what he had to say.
When I first met Barbara, I'll never forget the day. We were sitting like in the living room, and she had some red lipstick on. And I asked her, could I taste that red lipstick? And from there on, so we spent the next 3 days in each other's arms.
Miss Wilson, were you dating anybody else at that time?
No, no one else.
So like when Mr. Dowdy heard that Miss Wilson was knocked up, he was like, oh joy! His folks handed him cash for that news, and he didn't even bother to visit her. Huh, talk about making some heck of quality life choices, I must say.
I did come back about maybe a year later to go find her. But when I did get there, I went to where she last place I knew she lived, and some dude approached me like, oh, she's not here. We don't want you around here. We don't want to have nothing to do with you. But he did tell me that she was in Philadelphia. That was pretty much like the way he threatened me. I felt as though he could have been the father.
Oh boy, well, if you threaten a man like that, he'll probably end up having that idea. But according to Miss Wilson, the man who left behind was no one other than her family member. Just focus on what she says next.
When I left one of a family member in that apartment when I left. And it wasn't nobody I was dating or he could have been possibly the father, a family member. We don't do that. That's called incest.
But I didn't know who he was, basically. I didn't know who he was.
Our mama here had been telling her daughter that Mr. Dowdy was her real dad, giving her hope that one day she would know the truth. But hold on. This is what she had to say about spending a life without a father.
When I was a child, I had to go to school and see other kids with their daddy. They used to ask me, well, where's your daddy? I used to just lie and make up stuff. I would say that he's dead or he lives in another state somewhere. Why? Why did you do me this way? It was just hard the whole time.
Well, guess what, folks? Little Miss Sunshine over here wasn't exactly throwing a dance party about the whole deal. She's all like, I've had enough of this, and decided to give both a piece of her mind. You go, girl.
You was adopted and have your real parent. Why not step up as a parent for your child?
I never met my mother.
It's the same situation.
I never met my real mother.
It's just you was blessed to get a family to take care of you. I wasn't.
I understand.
But you was a healthy human being that you should have stepped up and found your child to give me a better life.
So, after all that jaw-jacking and collecting clues like it was a hunt, it was finally time to wrap up this never-ending saga. Drum roll, please. Cue the DNA magic and the grand finale verdict, because we are done wasting time.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dowdy, you are not the father.
I don't see how not. I haven't been with nobody else but him.
Mom, you had to be with somebody
But
else.
I wasn't.
You had to. The tests do not lie.
I know it don't lie, but I have not been with nobody else but him.
Twin sisters brought their father to court, claiming the reason he was denying paternity was motivated by finances. However, the father strongly objected that claim, and in doing so, accused the mommy of infidelity and whatnot. But here was the twist. This all came up only a year ago at a birthday party. Well, that part must have been fun. not for these guys.
Well, it all started about a year ago at his birthday party. And we overheard him speaking to some of our family members saying, y'all know these not my kids. That's what he was saying. We heard him. Now we was listening. Saying to our family members, y'all know they're not my kids. I'm down here raising all these sins and nobody is helping. Okay. That's what he was explaining to the rest of our family members.
Shedding light on this sordid love affair came to be when we got to know that Mr. Eggleston noticed 3 big things about the baby mama, and he was hooked. But pretty soon, all that went downhill when Mama pulled a few stunts and the babies came out glowing. You gotta see that yourselves, folks.
So you were in the delivery room?
Yes, with my little mask on and doctor suit on.
Why? Why doubt?
When I seen them coming out, they was glowing.
They were glowing?
Yeah. Look how pale they was, and plus the gook on their body, you know, they was shining.
So when they were born, you say they were glowing because they were very pale?
Yes.
Man, these guys wasted no moment to be at each other's throats. But wait a moment, because the baby daddy had an inner monologue between his devil and angel arguing over acknowledging paternity. You can't make this stuff up, people. And that led to courtroom chaos.
I was never able to buy 2 pair of Nikes, 2 cell phones, 2 this, you know.
You didn't buy anything.
Okay. So now I get punished because I'm not money worthy, you know, to keep them happy. Keep them happy. It's all about money now. If I cherish them with money, it'd be a whole new different ballgame.
So the mommy dearest was out of the picture, and that led to Mr. Eggleston taking the twins in. But guess what? According to the sisters, the baby daddy agreed to this arrangement for a price. And he, of course, denied all this. Cue the chaos again.
Because I'm fussed at and cussed at, and
you feel they're disrespecting you now.
Yeah, I never speak to you again. You the sorriest dad in the world. I've been in their life for 18 years, 3 months, and 16 days.
All right. Exactly.
Right. So 18 years, 3 months, and 3 days. What more else I got to prove? What else I got to prove?
So the father had real doubts about paternity, and they got serious when the twins were born. However, the sisters claimed that they had a skin condition that made them pale, but the baby daddy was still not convinced.
So in your mind, your doubts are getting validated. Is that what I'm understanding?
It was validated from day one because when I met her mother, it's on her birthday. When is your mother's birthday?
August 4th.
Add 9 months to that.
You give it to the court?
7 months.
Okay, so the babies were born 7 months after you met their mother. Okay.
Well, he wasn't convinced, and the Eggleston twins made it their mission to convince him. And for that very purpose, they had 2 witnesses. One ended up disclosing that there was indeed a John in the baby mama's life, while the grandma was fully supporting the kids. A family affair indeed.
Rodney said he's not the father. After 18 years, he should have said this from the very beginning when the first month when Sophia died. That's what he should have said when the twins were born. And I don't want Rodney to tell me ever again that he's not the father.
And that's true.
Enter a secret journal. Yup, the drama was going strong. But long story short, that journal belonged to Mr. Eggleston, and it was enlightening. Furthermore, the father's loud mouth landed him in quite some trouble.
They hurt and stuff that maybe I should, you know.
But listen,
is that what they wanted?
Listen to me. Speak out of frustration, but you've got to understand that those words are daggers in their hearts. You get frustrated and you say something, but it affects how they feel about who they are.
I don't think before I talk.
Before you speak.
You know, I got a bad habit of that.
Time to draw the curtains on this decades-long family affair. The Eggleston twins were desperate for answers, and the DNA queen had those ready to be rolled right out.
Mr. Eggleston, you are their father.
I told you! She wouldn't have did it like that! She wouldn't have did it like that! I told you! I was there. Not when conceived, but I was there.
The plaintiff claimed the defendant was a man-child. The defendant claimed the plaintiff was a groupie. Miss Williams wanted Mr. Glover to grow up and take responsibility, while Mr. Glover wanted to wash his hands of baby Ralph and his mama.
You claim Mr. Glover is an irresponsible man-child who would rather play mind games than be a father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Ms. Williams is a promiscuous groupie who hatched a complicated plan to trap you in order to cash in on your rap career. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
As soon as the judge asked to shed light on how these guys met, They were at each other's throats. Yup, Judge Lake could just look at them and buckle in for a long court proceeding. These guys lived in the same building, and that's how it began.
Well, I was doing videos in apartments that she was staying in. I'm a fireman at the time, the city, state to state, I'm everywhere. She played too many games.
He play a lot of games, Warner.
Stop trying to ride my fine, man. Just be real. You just trying to ride my fine.
Ride your fine. Nobody wants to ride you. What rapper is you, Ralph?
I'm a rapper in the city, and I in city, state to state riding.
You're an irresponsible man who needs to man up and take care of your child.
The nature of their relationship was still a mystery. It got resolved, but gave birth to new questions. These guys didn't even wait to be asked before they started bickering like they weren't in the court, but in a fish market.
I still haven't gotten to the nature of this relationship.
The nature of this relationship when we first met, we were friends.
You were friends.
After he discovered that I was something that he wanted, he took me off the market, knowing that I had a whole nother sugar daddy taking care of me.
Oh!
So it was established Miss Williams had sugar daddies. Yes, plural. But then she got together with Mr. Glover. Yep. However, when he played her, baby mama hopped back on the market. She liked being spoiled and missed that. On the other hand, the defendant was up to no good either.
His phone had called me numerous times with the moans and groans in the background talking about, baby, I love you, and so far on.
Wait, the moans and the groans in the background?
Of the sex communication.
Of the sex communication. Wait, how did you hear that?
His phone mistakenly called me.
Oh!
These guys had so much to talk about. Now, according to the plaintiff, when she got back to the market, she didn't have any sexual relations. But Mr. Glover didn't fall for this at all. And there they went, bickering again, and they would have continued had Judge Lake not stopped them.
Blue on, little bow, match your little tuxedo shirt.
She love this style. Like,
yeah, I love
you
it.
Honor. He knew that he couldn't find no woman as good as me on the market. It's why he came crying back. He would have never put himself in a predicament to even be the father of Ralph Glover III.
You chased me around the hood.
Now, Mr. Glover brought a witness along. It was her sister, apparently, and she was specifically here to shed light on the relationship the baby mama had with the sugar daddy. And she was quite dramatic about it with the exhibit she brought with her.
She asked me, could I go by their place to pick her up some clothes? So I said, of course, yeah, I'll go by your house, send me the address. So I called her once I reached the hotel. So once she came out the front door, Jaleesa got into the vehicle. After she got her clothes off the back seat, I got to this edge, looked to the right. This is the vehicle that belongs to the man in question.
Oh, these guys were testing this court's patience for sure. And they had no idea what kind of drastic consequences that would bring. Finally, Judge Lake stopped their nonsensical bickering and got real with them. About time.
Y'all got so much to say. Kills me. They get up in this courtroom, all of a sudden everybody wanna have conversation with one another. If y'all were gonna do that, y'all should have had conversation about getting a DNA test and figuring out if the child's father is Mr. Glover or not, and you wouldn't even need to be here. The point is, you're saying, Mr. Glover, that for 10 months, this child is named after you.
This has gone on long enough. If it were left up to these guys, they would stay here arguing with each other for days. The judge didn't want that, so she went straight to the DNA results, along with losing her patience with them. Here we go!
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Glover, you are the father.
So where's my apology? Clap on, cloud it. I'm listening.
Hey, you gotta stop
You
lying.
gonna man up and apologize
I'm a
for
man
all
who
the
take care of my
denying
baby,
of my child.
but that don't mean I'm still gonna be with you though.
For the longest time, the two sisters thought they lived a happy life. That was until their mother revealed a huge family secret that completely changed their lives. Miss Moore and her sister aren't stopping for suing their mother. And all for what?
So, how has your mother's revelation affected you?
I was a teenager, about 18. We was at my Auntie Miriam's house, the one that's here. They was joking around like, you know, he's not your father, and da-da-da-da-da. And I went and asked her about it, and she was like, yeah, you know, he ain't your father. He ain't your sister's father as well.
At least the mother, Miss Willis, admits to her mistakes. Who hides the identity of their father from her daughters? First up, Monica Moore talks about how when she was 18, her mother suddenly told her that Mr. Moore was his or her sister, Shawanda's dad. how did this affect Monica?
He's the only man that we ever knew. Even with my mother, like, my mother didn't get another boyfriend until after I was grown. So he's been here the whole time.
All their life.
The whole time.
Only father they know.
And that's how you plan to keep it?
Yes, I was.
So this entire situation was by design?
Right.
Turns out Miss Willis wanted to take this secret to her grave. She never wanted her children to find out the truth. But her sister ended up ruining everything by telling the girls they looked nothing like Mr. Moore. Miss Willis was with Mr. Moore for 27 years. So, did she have an affair?
I had an affair.
You had an affair.
So she said it was a one-night stand.
It was a one-night stand.
Our relative, it was an ongoing
situation. That's what you always go wrong. This to other people instead of her mother.
Well, you never told us anything. We wouldn't be here today. If they
If you wouldn't have brought me here, I wouldn't be here at all.
But the truth should set you free.
Despite knowing another man was Monica's father, Miss Willis lied to Mr. Moore and said the girl was his. This woman didn't even bother to tell the other man he might be the father. Hearing this crushes Monica. She feels robbed of a bond with her true father.
What are you crying for?
We in this
That's
situation.
your daddy.
Yeah, he my father. What if he not?
not?
You saying that he not? You saying that he not my father?
If it turns out really the way you're saying that he is not her biological father, will you introduce her to her biological father?
Do I get that, at least that right?
Yes.
Once Miss Willis's sister is asked at the stand, Judge Lauren asks her if she knows the identity of this secret man. The sister immediately confesses who it is. Did the sister do the right thing by telling her nieces the truth? Or was it Miss Willis's burden to carry?
Do you know who Monica's father is?
Yeah.
know
She
what
been
you're
knowing
talking
for a
about.
long time. She ain't just met this man. She been knowing this man. I always tell her to tell him. Why don't you tell him before they get too old? Now they're in their 30s and 20s, and she's still standing up there like she don't know what I'm talking about. This ain't the first time we had this conversation.
got nothing.
We had it all the time. All of us get together and say, why don't you tell them who their daddy is?
The same thing happened with Shawanda. Miss Willis straight up told her that Mr. Moore wasn't her father either. But the sad thing is how Miss Willis told Monica first and withheld the secret from Shawanda. When the results are revealed, will these girls get to see their real daddy?
It has been determined by this court. You are not her father.
I'm still the daddy.
It has been determined by this court. You are her father.